New York City vaccine employer mandates private employers.
COVID that could set an example for other cities in a move that he calls a preemptive strike. Mayor Bill de Blasio has announced that all private sector workers in this city should have at least one dose of a COVID vaccine by December 27th. And that's less than 3 weeks from now. 60% of all U.S. citizens are now fully vaccinated, but the cases, we're sorry to say, are still rising, mostly in those who do not have the shot. Nikki Batiste is here with more on New York City's new rules. Nikki, good to see you. Good morning.
Gail, good morning. Mayor de Blasio says he made the first in the nation move to help curb a spike in cases brought on by Omicron in the winter months. He says he will explain how the new mandate will be enforced and any consequences for any private sector workers who refuse a vaccine on December 15th.
We need to take very bold action, aggressive action to address these new threats.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio announced the new mandate for private employers Monday, impacting about 184,000 businesses. There is no testing alternative, but those working remotely will not be required to get the shot. The order also mandates kids as young as 5 to have one dose of the vaccine before they can go inside restaurants and entertainment venues starting next week.
This is how we put health and safety first.
This comes as the Biden administration's new travel requirements take effect for those flying back to the U.S. They must test negative for COVID within 24 hours of their flight. While the Delta variant makes up the vast majority of the more than 100,000 new daily COVID cases in the U.S., the Omicron variant is spreading rapidly. As many as 20 states have confirmed at least one case in the last few days. In Louisiana, at least 17 COVID cases were discovered on a Norwegian cruise line ship that returned to port Sunday. A South African crew member is suspected of testing positive for the Omicron variant. Passengers, all of whom were fully vaccinated, say they had no clue.
We were tested on Saturday, but we didn't know anything about any kind of outbreak on board ship.
We heard when we got to port and had cell phone service and saw the news.
Early data shows those with the Omicron variant have mild symptoms, but so much is still unknown.
We'll see how the Omicron variant accelerates in the coming weeks.
Dr. Peter Hota says the focus needs to remain on vaccinations.
We still have too many people who are either unvaccinated or under-vaccinated, and that's a killer.
A Norwegian cruise line spokesperson told us the health and safety of its guests and crew are its highest priority. Dr. Hota says he believes that COVID vaccines will likely offer some protection against the Omicron variant, but he says we'll know more in the days and weeks ahead as we get more data. Nate.
Nikki, thank you.
New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio's announcement of a new vaccine mandate for private sector employees caught some businesses by surprise. The mandate requires 184,000 businesses to have all of their workers vaccinated starting December 27th. That's just days before New York's next mayor, Eric Adams, is set to take office. Joining me now is New York City's Mayor Bill de Blasio. Mr. Mayor, thanks so much for being with us. We say it caught businesses by surprise. The New York Times has a quote from Catherine Weil, the president of the business group Partnership for New York City. She says, "We were blindsided. There was no forewarning, no discussion."
So I could sub again.
Why the surprise?
I am almost
I don't think anyone should be surprised about what was.
Symptoms are already
Drip
showing,
change, baby.
Staying up till 4 a.m. to watch
That's a
your
drip
streams.
change. I'm wearing that fucking Lily Pichu, okay? That Supreme Drop Lily Pichu fit. You know what I'm talking about? You ain't got this. You don't have it, dude. I'm fucking dripped out the wazoo, okay? I'm sheeshing. I'm Sheesh Khalifa. Yep, wearing that designer, dude. Wearing that motherfucking designer, dude. That Lily Pichu. Sheesh. I stole this, dude, straight up. Went to the offline TV. Went to the OTV pop-up shop. Xi Jinping. Yeah, Xi Jinping is right. Show it off on the camera. What's up? I get the husky boy view, wearing 2 shirts to hide it. Swear? Wait, what? You're 30, my man? I mean, I'm making a joke, dude. Call the joke? Florida imposed 100x safe dosage of ivermectin kids aged 40 to 65. What is that take? You're behind this designer shoplifting gang? That straight up. That's me. That's what I was doing, dude. Running around doing some fucking devious licks. Doing some devious designer licks at the offline TV pop-up.
We're seeing with the Omicron variant, with the extraordinary growth of cases that we're experiencing in this city and all over this country. Look at a country like Germany right now, shutdowns, restrictions. We cannot let that happen. So we had to take decisive action. And look, this Omicron variant moves fast. We have to move faster. That's why we did this.
It doesn't take long to call a business association.
We've talked to business leaders for months about the reality of the Delta variant and the whole reality of COVID. You know what they tell us? One, when the government acts, it makes it easier for them to act. They like to see the government lead the way. We did that with our own public employees, our own public schools. We proved it works. And then what we also heard from business leaders is whatever you do, don't let us go back to shutdown. Don't let us go backwards. This is a preemptive strike. This is to get ahead of something that's now threatening us in a new way. You had the winter weather, you had the holiday gatherings, now Omicron. I mean, we're getting a lot of warnings here. We better be aggressive.
How will you enforce this?
You know what? We have a great model because we already did this with restaurants, with indoor entertainment, with fitness in this city. Over months, we've been doing this. We had a requirement, customers and employees. And you know what? We've heard from business owners and customers. They feel safer. They go to a restaurant in New York City, you know everyone's vaccinated, you feel safe. And it's worked.
But literally, who enforces it? Like, who's the person? Do you check with each company to make sure all their employees are vaccinated? Are you going to fine the companies if they don't?
So we have experience already with private sector, with, as I said, restaurants and others, indoor entertainment. We had almost no fines. There was a lot of cooperation. Our Department of Health is going to work with the business sector. We're going to come out with specific protocols by December 15th so people have time. And look, in the end, we know we just can't sit here and let this situation get worse. And lives are at stake. And the last thing we could possibly allow in this city or this country is to go backwards, because that's a danger. I mean, Germany, a very advanced nation, they're going through those restrictions and shutdowns. Look, my message, every governor, every mayor in America, get in place some mandates now before it's too late, because we cannot, people's livelihoods, people's lives, we can't go through more shutdowns and restrictions.
So this goes into effect 4 or 5 days before you leave office. I know you say you have spoken to the mayor-elect Eric Adams about this, but his people put out a statement that says the mayor-elect will evaluate this mandate and other COVID strategies when he is in office and make determinations based on science, efficacy, and the advice of health professionals. That's not a, yes, we're definitely going to keep it in place. Did he tell you he would?
I've had great conversations with the mayor-elect. He and I have a great close relationship. What he always says is he's going to listen to the health leadership. Our health leadership in New York City said, it's time for this. Yeah. We need this. They look at Omicron. They're saying, look, we don't know enough, but we know one thing. It appears to be highly transmissible, even more than Delta. And we got to do something aggressive. I think the mayor-elect has been consistent. He will follow the ideas and concerns of the health leadership.
But he didn't tell you that. He didn't tell you he was
I'm not going to talk about private conversations. I'm going to say he has been true to his word. He listens to the health leadership.
Look, I want to be clear, is that people who I know in New York City and when I've gone out to restaurants in New York City, people that I've seen were thrilled to take their vaccine cards out and they feel much safer walking in. So let's stipulate that I do know a lot of people like this. There are those raising questions about tourists coming to New York City. Another part of this is you're going to require kids 5 to 11 to show proof of vaccination earlier than December 27th. That starts December 15th, right?
December 14th. And that, obviously, we've had now the vaccine for some weeks, thank God.
We have. But what about tourists coming in? What are you going to
Funny how you're getting a recourses from CNN when you're a communist. Bro, what the fuck is a recourses? I don't even know what you mean by this. Like, I don't know what you're trying to say. You mean like resources? Are you trying to say like get your news? Is that what you're trying to say? All right, fuck this.